Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome, Commissioner. This is the regular business meeting of the Mason County Commission for November 19th. We're going to go ahead and we're going to begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see. Dean, Joe, would you do us the honor of leading us in the pledge, please?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Last month somebody was saying it so loud I couldn't remember the words myself. Roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here.
Okay, excellent. We have a quorum. Let's go ahead and move on to correspondence and organizational business. Do we have correspondence to come before us, please?
Yes, we do. Received notice from Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board for the following. Diamond Ace LLC approval for cannabis producer Tier 3 cannabis processor. Notice to licensees on firearms. Cannabis renewal application for Gold Baby LLC and Memento Rydeer LLC. Liquor license renewal application for SK and DK Enterprises, Inc. Paul Michael Thompson, Shelton Brewing LLC, Willowop LLC, Rosen Enterprises, Inc., Steether Enterprises LLC, and Spencer Lake Bar and Grill. And we received a request for consultation for Bremerton Mason Sewer Expansion Project from Squaxin Island Tribe.
Thank you. Next up, item number 4.2, Operation Greenlight Proclamation. Mark.
Thank you, Commissioner. Supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans. Whereas the residents of Mason County have great respect, admiration, and the most gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our county and this country, and this community in the armed forces. Whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. Whereas Mason County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve the community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran service officers. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. Whereas active military service members transitioning from the military service are at high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas Mason County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the designation as a green light for Veteran County, the Board of Mason County Commissioners hereby declares the month of November a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Be it further resolved that in observance of Operation Greenlight, the Mason County Board of County Commissioners encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in a window of their place of business or residence from November 7th through November 30th, 2024.
Thank you. Commissioner.
Sure. Thanks, Mark, for reading the proclamation there, and thanks, Commissioner Trask, in particular, for bringing this forward to us this month again. We've done this for the past few years, and it's but a small token of our appreciation for all of the veterans who live and work in Mason County, and we hope that it's an opportunity to recognize their service and sacrifice on behalf of all of us in our nation's military. And all of us, I think, have veterans in our lives that we're particularly grateful for. And so this is, like I said, just an opportunity for us to recognize their service and call attention to, the continued contributions that they make in our community.
Commissioner Trask, would you like to say something for a moment, please?
Absolutely. I've got a family full of veterans and active members. I really want to give a shout out to Kelly Frazier also, because he and his staff are the ones that go and turn our buildings green. And the green is to remember our veterans. So when you walk by our buildings or drive by our buildings and you see the green lights, that's because of Kelly and his team. So I want to really thank him, but especially our veterans and the service that they provided to all of us.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd ask myself, again, this is very special. I appreciate you, Kelly, and everything your folks do on this. Commissioner Trask, thank you for bringing it forward again this year. I think it is extremely important to remember the sacrifices and everything that comes, even when they may never have been shot, they may never have been hurt, but even when they leave, the family they leave behind has to cry each night. People forget about that stuff. Some years back, not this commission, some years back, we had a situation where we're trying to get a raise in how much we allow for taxation to go into our Veterans Fund. And one of the commissioners actually made a comment that I'll never forget because it blew me away. Made a comment about the importance of it and what makes them different than me, is basically the comment. The comment, you know, especially when it comes to us giving something. And I was taken back by that, and I always will be, because the difference is they gave so much. They took a chance of giving everything. It's a pain in the rear end to sit up here and do the stuff we do. Most of the time, people aren't shooting at us. It's not that it's not possible, but I got to tell you, the thing I remember the most that came out into my mind at the time was, here we are looking to give it, and we would have nothing to give if they hadn't given what they gave. We would have no opportunity to do any of this. And if we forget that, we're destined to lose it, I'm telling you. So thank you, and God bless every single veteran that we have. You definitely have made our lives incredible, and we're never going to be able to thank you enough. But hopefully we give you the respect that you deserve. Okay. All right. Enough for the emotional things. Next on to, is there any further correspondence come before us?
There was one I forgot to read.
Okay.
Oh,
And wait a minute, I gotta point out, so I've been doing this for all these years, and I've never had one, but I've always felt it was important to ask, is there any more correspondence? It paid off after
It
13
did.
years, you go.
Thank you. We received the 2025 budget from Public House Bill Number 1, Mason County, Washington.
Excellent,
That's
thank you. It's about time. Next up is our open forum for citizens input. This is your opportunity to come and speak to the commission on any item that is not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, we ask that you wait. You'll be given an opportunity to speak at that time. If there's something that you're just here to talk about, though, that's not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to talk to the commission and to the public regarding this item. We will remind you, there's a 3-minute time limit, 15-minute total. So if there's a bunch of people, which there's not, please be brief. This way the others could have an opportunity to speak. With that being said, I'm going to start in the room first. Is there anybody in the room? Please, Susan, we ask that you come forward, say your name. Nope, I already called on you.
I know.
Please say your name and perhaps where you're from.
Susan Kirchhoff. Good morning, commissioners, with founder and director of Youth Connection. First of all, I wanted to say today is Red Shawl Day, and if you don't know what that is, it's honoring Indigenous peoples that have been murdered and lost. And so we at the Youth Connection are honoring that, and that's why I'm wearing red, and it's my favorite color. I just wanted to say thank you for your support and encouragement as we navigate the complexity of our remodel. And I want to personally invite you to our appreciation event that we're having on December 5th from 4:30 to 7. It's an opportunity for the Youth Connection to express our gratitude towards individuals and organizations in our community which have helped us to get where we are. We will be serving refreshments. Please bring your ID because it's a wine pairing and you can't have wine without an ID. And because we do youth, you know, there will be young people in the building. With the upcoming passing of the federal budget, I'm speaking life into that, by the way. Youth Connection is on the line item on the budget. So with the passing of the budget, we would be fully funded for our project. I have the fingers crossed out. We are hopeful that this will be the last time when people can come, they can come see the building prior to our remodel. As the Youth Connection is gearing up to support our young people through the holiday season, we have our giving tree available at both of our centers. This year, we're actually working with the North Mason School District because some organization pulled out of what they normally do. And so we are taking that up. So it's not, we're gonna have names of people that are in the North Mason High School that would not they normally got served somewhere else, and I don't know all the details off the top of my head. But we're gonna pick up that slack and try to help those young people as well as our people that we have that we're working with as clients. It works out to be 2 wants and a need, so anybody who is interested can come by and pick something off our giving trees. This time of year, I'm always reminded that the holidays bring a lot of extra stress. I do want to I'm going to tell a quick story because I love stories. We had a young man that was a gangbanger, and I'm going to tell you, when I first met him, he actually scared the tar out of me, and I don't meet very many people that I get a little fearful of. He did frighten me, but he really had a desire to change his life. He kind of did the ebb and flow and up and down and up and down, and we just stayed consistent with him. At Christmas time 3 years ago, we did this our celebration that we do and bring Santa Claus in, and we try to really do what we can for him. And I encouraged him to go sit on Santa's lap to get his gifts, and I'm telling you, this guy was scary. Okay, so he walks away and he's got tears coming down his cheeks, and I'm like, what the heck is going on with you? And he goes, I've never sat on Santa's lap. He goes, I've never got a Christmas present before. I've never even had a tree before. What? I don't even know how to focus on this. And I will tell you, that was the changing moment in his life. And he, from that moment on, made decisions that changed what he did. So that's why we do what we do. And I just wanted to encourage us all as we head into the season. Holidays bring happiness, but also add stress, especially as costs have increased, tending to have donations decrease as expendable income is becoming non-existent. Please keep that in mind as we're going through it. I do want to let all of you know that I've been working alongside Community Lifeline as well to encourage them to change their reputation in the community. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but we've really worked hard at helping them change that. So if you haven't seen it, go by and look. That's my biggest thing, hopefully, and have a Merry Christmas, or Happy Thanksgiving.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks. I got all nervous as he was watching his clock.
That's because you went over and he was being kind to you.
But you were right in the middle of your story.
Oh.
Now we don't have time for Dean.
Yeah, sorry, no.
Just kidding.
Is there anybody else who would like to come forward,
One more
please?
time, Sorry.
Dean?
Dean Jewett, lifelong Mason County member, thank you for being here. I do appreciate Susan and everything that she does. And I will attest that, yeah, Brewer Park does look better on some of the outsides. We still have a lot of work to do, but I appreciate her putting her 2 cents into it. Her 2 cents is worth about $8.12, so thank you. Airbnbs. I want to chat a little bit about short-term rentals. I know that we've got a lot of stuff going back and forth within the community. I read some of the ideas or some of the things that were drafted. A person speaking from experience that uses a lot of Airbnbs. We're doing a flip house down in Springfield, Oregon right now. I take my crew down there. We've been down there about 6 or 8 times. I can get an Airbnb down in Springfield for the whole week for under $1,000. If I did hotels, it'd be $2,500. Where does that funding go? Does that funding go into a small community when you do an Airbnb, or does it go into a big multinational, international hotel chain and leave our community? So some of the rules that I'm seeing are ridiculous when there's expectations of responding and faster than what our emergency services can. There's no reason to have a 7-layer cake when a 2-layer cake is plenty. I like cake. So we already have rules and regulations that cover the majority of the stuff that I see. Now there's probably some bad experiences. There's also some awesome experiences. So we need to really make sure that we're careful on what we do with these short-term rentals. I want to talk about the camps that we got up and down on Highway 3 up by the yacht clubs. There's a lot of people in this room that I've actually taken on trips. There's people within the city I've taken on trips, sheriffs, police officers, community members. It hasn't gotten any better. It's getting worse. We clean them up, the leaves fall down, and we just end up with a complete and utter mess. So anything that we do here to clean up our foundation, it's like we're building it on sand, because if we don't take care of everything, then we take care of nothing. And I'm not saying that some of the things that we're doing don't produce positive results, but is it negating the negative results that's caused by these camps? So I just really want to make sure that we're taking a look at that and what we're going to do. The last thing I wanted to chat about is teamwork between the city, the county, and the nonprofits. I've got this stupid saying that I say, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always got. And what we got isn't working. So what do we do to change it? You know, we can't just keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. That's chaos. That's old Bill from the 12 steps. Let's put our heads together. Let's get a task force. Let's do what we need to do. Let's pull from every little part of it and figure out a positive direction that we can actually negate some of this negative behavior. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to speak to the commission on an item not on the agenda? Please raise your hand and I will call on you. Seeing none? Ken Van Buskirk, you got your hand up now, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to you first, but just for the rest of the people on Zoom, I'll be asking for you to raise your hand or unmute yourself and identify yourself so we can call on you later. But for the moment, Ken Van Buskirk, please, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Netherland, and good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to, on behalf of Cemetery District 1, I'm a commissioner there. We were able to utilize the ARPA monies that the county facilitated us getting, and I just wanted to thank Mr. Neary and staff and yourselves for all the help that you gave us to make that happen. If you get a chance in your travels, swing by and check out what we were able to accomplish. We expanded the cemetery and got some fencing in there and some sprinkler water system put in there. So it's going to work out real well, and we really appreciate your help in making that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on Zoom who would like to speak to the commission on an item not on the agenda? If possible, please raise your hand so I can call on you. If you do not know how to raise your hand, I'll ask you to unmute yourself at this moment, say your name so I can call on you. Hearing none, seeing none, we will move forward. All right, item number 6, adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of today's agenda as presented.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Next up is item number 7, which is approval of the minutes, and we have none. So we're going to move on to item number 8, which is approval of the action agenda. All items listed under the action agenda will be voted on with one vote, unless, of course, you'd like to have it taken off for a separate vote to see how we vote, or if you would like to testify. If there's an item on here that you would like to testify to, we will ask you to pull it off, and you'll be given an opportunity to testify when the time comes up. With that being said, you'll also give an opportunity to ask any questions. I'm going to go ahead and read items number 8.1 through 8.6. Commissioner Schutte will read 8.7 through 8.12, and at that point we will ask you your opinions. So with that, item number 8.1, approval of warrants and treasurer's electronics remittance. Claims, clearing fund, warrants number 8108531 through 8108860. The amount $7,285,991.08. Direct deposit fund, warrants number 111138 through 111550. The amount $930,544.03. Salary clearing fund, warrants number 7008487 through 7008524. The amount $1,228,551.11. The treasurer's electronic remittance amount is $878,396.68. Item number 8.2, approval of the resolution amending resolution number 2022-16, updating the county-held warrant, contract, and promissory note loan policy. Item number 8.3, approval to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 at 9:15 a.m. to consider Mason County Code changes to Chapter 2, 3, 13, and 17. Item number 8.4, approval to appoint Rainey Fogel to the Transportation Improvement Program Citizen Advisory Panel, the TIPCAP, for Commissioner District 2 rural term expiring September 24th, 2027. Item number 8.5 is approval to appoint Glenn Harper to the Mason County Thurston Area of Agency on Aging, LMTAAA, for a two-year term expiring December 31st, 2027. Item number 8.6, approval to appoint Dean Jewett to the Timberland Regional Library, TRL, Board of Trustees for a term beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2031.
Mr. Chair, item 8.7, approval to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 17th, 2024 at 9:15 a.m. to consider and approve supplemental budget requests and budget transfers to the 2024 budget. Item 8.8, approval to reallocate any remaining funds from completed American Rescue Plan Act projects to the obligated ARPA project governmental operations so that all ARPA funds are expended before December 31st, 2026. Item 8.9, approval to rename the American Rescue Plan Act project DCD Records Archival Image to DCD Records Archival Image and Salaries and Benefits, and approval to rename the ARPA project Belfair Sewer, Log Yard Road, and Romance Hill Extension Design to Governmental Operations. Item 8.10, approval of the resolution amending the non-represented salary range alignment per the recommendations of Cabot Dow Associates and Mason County Human Resources. Item 8.11, approval of the October 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028 collective bargaining agreement for Woodworkers Local Lodge W38 IAM Corrections and Support Staff. And item 8.12, approval of the memorandum of understanding for a market adjustment for Woodworkers Local Lodge W38 IAM Prosecution.
That anybody has a question regarding that would allow them to decide whether to take it off for a separate vote. If so, please raise your hand. Is there anybody on Zoom that has a question that would help them to decide whether to take an item off for a special vote? If so, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I will call on you. Seeing none, are there any items, Commission, that you'd like taken off for a separate vote?
Just a quick question, are we tabling item 8.10? The non-rept, or are we moving forward with that? I thought Commissioner Trask was wanting more discussion.
I agree with you. Commissioner, do you remember that as well?
We
Did,
talked about that, and I thought you guys were gonna actually pull it off.
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah,
just confirming.
so,
that,
but let me
yeah.
just double check. Commissioner Trask, did you get the information you needed? Are you ready to move forward, or would you like us to eventually, we've set the agenda, so we'll have a motion to table it if we want. Or if you want to move.
I'd like to have that removed. I agree with the study. I just have heartburn over the application.
I understand. So, at this time, we're gonna go ahead and pull that off for a separate vote. When we have the separate vote, we will ask for a motion to table it, till the next meeting. Does that work for you, Commissioner Trask?
That'll work.
Okay, so with that, is there any other items that anybody would like taken off for a separate vote in this room? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, are there anybody on Zoom that has an item they would like taken off for a special vote so they could testify or hear our individual votes? If so, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I will call on you. I see none, then I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of action item agenda numbers 8.1 through 8.12 with item 8.10 removed for a separate discussion and vote.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the action agenda items 8.1 through 8.12 with the removal of 8.10 for a separate vote. Any discussion?
Not for me.
Discussion, Commissioner?
No, I want to welcome Glenn back to Area Agency on Aging. Thank you for serving again. And Dean too. We got lots of community members joining our committee, so super excited about that.
Agreed. I appreciate everybody that steps up to be on these citizen committees. They are the backbone of everything, and if we don't have them, we don't have the citizens' input that we should. We try to be everywhere, but we can't. It's just the way it works. So with that being said, I have a motion on the floor, motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Next up is item number 8.10. This is the approval of resolution amending non-represented salary range alignment per the recommendation of Cabot Dow Associates and Mason County Human Resources. I don't know that we need to go any further than that, if somebody's willing to make a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move tabling item 8.10 until the December 3rd meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to move, table the item 8.10, approval of resolution amending non-represented salary range alignment per the recommendation of Cabot Dow Associates and Mason County Human Resources until our meeting on December 3rd. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. It is moved to December 3rd. Next up is item number 9, other business, department heads, elected officials. Do I have any in the room first? Do I have any department heads or elected officials who would like to speak at this time? I see none. Is there anybody on Zoom land, department head or elected official who would like to speak to the commission on this at this time? Unmute yourself, say your name, and I'll call on you. Hearing none, we will move forward. We're good on time, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move to item number 10, which is our public hearing. Item number 10.1, we're gonna open up a public hearing to consider the applicant requested rezone of 325 acres from rural residential 10, RR10, to rural residential 5, RR5. Staff Kel Rowan.
Good morning, Kel Rowan, Mason County Community Development. Shout out to my husband Jim, who is a Navy deep sea diver veteran.
His service. And, yeah.
All right, so this is a request for a rezone of 325 acres. There are 64 parcels. 63 of those parcels are 5 acres or less in size. One of the parcels is 10 acres. And that's important to know because the request is to rezone from rural residential 5, or rural residential 10 to rural residential 5, which if approved would give that one parcel the ability to split in half and increase its density by 1. And so this is more of a cleanup of the zoning, the existing density, rather than increasing density across the 325 acres. So I welcome any questions to clarify that if that's not clear. The location of these parcels is south of the Belfair Urban Growth Area and north of State Route 302, Victor Vaughn, Coulter Creek area. It's all in the rural area of Mason County. And staff recommended approval of this. It went to the Planning Advisory Commission, and the Planning Advisory Commission did recommend unanimously approval to the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay, is there any questions from staff? We'll start with us first. Any questions from staff regarding the presentation?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This aligns with neighboring zoning in the area.
There is some zoning that I forgot to bring my map with me, so I can't look, but there are some that would be adjacent to existing rural residential 5 zoning, and as well as the rural residential 10.
And then just, if you already mentioned it, I apologize, but just Planning Commission.
They did recommend approval.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Trask, do you have any questions for staff regarding presentation? Okay, thank you. Is there anybody in the room that has a question for staff regarding presentation? This is not your opportunity to testify. You'll do that at a different point. Anybody have a question for staff? Hearing none. Is there anybody on Zoom that has a question for staff regarding her presentation? This is not an opportunity to testify. You'll be given that in a moment. This is an opportunity just to have something corrected in your mind to help you decide what you want to do. If so, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, and I will call on you if you say your name. Please unmute yourself, say your name, and I'll call on you. Hearing none? Hearing none, I will close this aspect, and we will move to testimony from the public. Is there anybody in the room who would like to testify regarding this issue? Please raise your hand, I'll call on you. Hearing none. We're gonna move to Zoom land. Is there anybody in Zoom land who would like to testify at this time? This is the opportunity for citizens testimonial. If so, we ask that you raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I will call on you. If you would like to testify, now's your opportunity. Raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I will call on you. We will close public testimony and move to commissioner deliberation and or a motion.
Just real quick, Mr. Chair, did we receive any written
No.
testimony?
Oh. Okay,
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the applicant requested rezone of 325 acres from rural residential 10 to rural residential 5, with the recommendation of staff and the Citizens Planning Commission.
do I have to say
And
all
I'll
that?
second.
Okay, it's been moved in second
You're the chair.
to approve the applicant's requested rezone for 325 acres from rural residential 10 to rural residential 5, with the understanding that the planning commission voted to approve it. Is that close enough?
Close enough.
Okay. With that being said, any comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up. Item number 10.2. Let me go ahead and. Item number 10.2, public hearing. This is a good one. Public hearing to consider the move to increase the 2025 current expense property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,101,802.22. Move to increase the 2025 road property tax by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set a levy at $11,857,054.96, which includes a diversion of the road levy of $1,080,000. Move to certify the, shouldn't be moves in all these things, and to certify refund levies in the following levies amounts for collection 2025 to recover net refunds, cancellations, and permissions for the chair to sign the form from the treasurer's authorizing the collection and refund levies, county's general fund, 49,641. So is that accurate? 49,000?
Yes.
$641.47. Current expense, road diversion, $5,200.28. Road district number 1, $48,737.62. Mental health, $1,070.04. And veterans assistance fund, $677.74. And move to adopt the current 2025 current expense road and property tax levy resolution and continue the public hearing to Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 at 9:15 a.m. to adopt resolution certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2025. Staff. I don't think you have to say it all again, but you.
Good morning.
Say what he said.
Yeah.
Jennifer Byerly, Support Services. And the item probably should have been written out as certified to the county assessor, the amount of taxes levied for county purposes and the amount of taxes levied for current expense and road for 2025. An increase to the current expense and road property tax levies for 2025 may be considered. And I want to point out, first of all, that the implicit price, we don't need a separate resolution to declare substantial need in order to bank the 1% capacity. So we're not increasing taxes, we're banking that capacity. And then the amount that you read, Commissioner, for, there are 4 different motions. And the first one, move to increase the 2025 current expense property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at, it should have been $11,097,258.10.
Hold on. 11 million. Say again?
$11,097,258.10. And then the second requested action, move to increase the 2025 road property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,839,455.10. and 42 cents.
Okay.
And this includes a diversion of the road levy of $1,080,000. And those amounts changed because I had the wrong amounts for new construction in both of those. But the assessor has reviewed, and those amounts that I just gave you are what they're saying is recommended. The third and fourth motions that are also recommended are what you read, and those are correct. Move to certify refund levies and the following levies and amounts for collection in 2025 to recover net refunds and cancellations, and permission for the chair to sign the form from the treasurer authorizing the collection of the refund levies, and I won't read those amounts again. And the last one, move to adopt the 2025 current expense and road property tax levy resolutions and continue the hearing to December 3rd, 2024, the commission meeting at 9:15 a.m. to adopt the resolution certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2025. Since the property tax, the junior taxing districts have until November 30th to turn in their requests. So that's why we don't have that ready today.
Okay.
So any questions or comments?
You'd be making motions, so.
Yeah. So just one process clarification. So we'll make 4 motions in this hearing.
Correct.
Okay. And then what are we currently at for bank capacity for both current expense and road fund?
So currently, for current expense, the bank capacity is at $510,938.56. For roads, the bank capacity is at $550,700.11.
Okay.
And those are approximate numbers. They could change.
Okay. And what would the 1% have represented roughly this year?
It's roughly about 100,000
Yeah, okay.
in each.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner, do you have any questions?
Not at this time.
Okay, is there anybody in the room that has any questions regarding the presentation from staff? This is not your opportunity to testify, but just ask a question to help you decide if you want to testify and talk later. I see none in the room. Is there anybody on Zoom who has a question to staff regarding the presentation that was just given? This is your opportunity to ask that question, help you decide if you want to testify later. With that, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I'll call on you. I see none, so we're going to go ahead and move into public testimony. In the room, is there anybody in the public who would like to testify on this issue? Please raise your hand, I'll call on you. Seeing none, is there anybody in Zoom who would like to testify on this issue? If so, please raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I will call on you. One more chance. If you would like to testify, now is your opportunity. Raise your hand or unmute yourself, say your name, and I will call on you if you're on Zoom. Hearing none, I will close public testimony and move to commissioner deliberation and or motions.
Mr. Chair, I move to increase the 2025 current expense property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,097,258.10.
I'll second.
Okay, let me go back through this one. There's a motion to increase the 2025 current expense property tax levy by 0%, bank the excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,097,258.10. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Next up.
Mr. Chair, I move to increase the 2025 road property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy at $11,839,455.42. This includes a diversion of the road levy of $1,080,000.
Second that.
Okay, there's a motion on the table. There's a motion to increase the 2025 road property tax levy by 0%, bank excess capacity, and set the levy amount at $11,839,455.42. which includes a diversion of the road levy by $1,080,000. So with that, any discussion? Any discussion, Commissioner?
Nope.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries, hearing no objection. Next.
Mr. Chair, I move to certify refund levies in the following levies and amounts for collection in 2025 to recover net refunds, cancellations, and permission for the chair to sign the form from the treasurer authorizing the collection of the refund levies as follows. County's general fund, $49,641.47. Current expense, road diversion, $5,200.28. Road District Number 1, $48,737.62. Mental Health, $1,070.04. And Veterans Assistance Fund, $677.74.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded to certify the refund levies and the following levies and the amounts for collection 2025 to recover net refunds, cancellations, and permission for the chair to sign the form for the treasurer's authorizing collection of the refund levies, county's general funds, $49,641.47. Current expense in road diversion, $5,200.28. Road District Number 1, $48,737.62. Mental Health, $1,070.04. Veterans Assistance Fund, $677.74. With that being said, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the 2025 current expense and road property tax levy resolutions and continue the hearing to December 3rd, 2024, commission meeting at 9:15 a.m. to adopt the resolution certifying to the county assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2025.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded to adopt the 2025 current expense road and property tax levy resolution, continuing the public hearing to Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 at 9:15 a.m. to adopt the resolution certifying to the county's assessor the property tax levies for collection in 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That's the end of this hearing, and we will close this hearing. All right, next up. Item number 11, board reports and calendars. Commissioner Trask, would you like to go ahead and start us off? Commissioner Shooties and myself.
All right, I can do that. I don't know if you really want me to go through everything that I'm doing here at this conference. Just to let you know, every hour is full, and it's full of information from opioids to roads to homelessness, and it's going to be a great conference, and I'm sure I'll bring back a lot of very important sought-after information. So I'll be here until Friday morning. I have a Republican women's meeting Friday at noon. Want to wish Roy a very happy birthday on Saturday. We have a briefing on Monday, Wausau Virtual Assembly. I'll be meeting with a Turning Point board member on Monday, Tuesday, meeting with PUD. I have a SWAC meeting on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and be careful how you spend your Black Friday monies. On Sunday, the 1st, is our anniversary, 10 Mines anniversary. Then we're back here for our briefing on Monday, Wausau Virtual Assembly Commission meeting. And then we can figure out the rest.
Thank you.
So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to this at this point, but I was invited to the North Mason School District Superintendent selection kickoff meeting up in Belfair. So I might be at that if we can get out of here in time. Have a Shelton YMCA board meeting, Mason Transit. Also be attending the Gorse Study kickoff meeting. Be at the North Mason Chamber Lunch. Have canvassing board, then also have certification of the election, budget hearing, BHASO check-in, Thanksgiving, and probably a bunch of other stuff that I'm missing, but can fill you all in on Monday.
Okay. Coming up here, we have our transit meeting. I have, it might be also a selection meeting, AC meeting, Gorse Coalition, meeting, Chamber of Commerce, I'll be speaking there. We have a Russellwood HOA meeting that I will be attending. We have a community, event that I'll be at, for the folks on Razor Road, Rotary meeting, and, probably at the Wassac, and that'll bring us back, and we'll be starting that over again as well as we move into Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. With that being said, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.